In 1961, the automotive world was moving forward, but no one expected a car like this. When Jaguar revealed the E-Type, it didn't look like anything else on the road. Its long bonnet, low stance, and flowing curves felt more like a vision of the future than a production car. What made the E-Type truly special wasn't just its beauty. It was designed with racing knowledge, yet built for real roads. Every line served a purpose, balancing elegance with performance. Step closer, and the details begin to speak. As the years passed, newer cars arrived and technology evolved, but the E-Type never faded away. Instead, it transformed from a modern sports car into a timeless icon, remembered not for numbers or specifications, but for changing how the world saw automotive design. From Europe to the United States, the E-Type became more than just a car. It appeared in films, magazines, and garages of those who appreciated true design. Even today, decades later, it still stops people in their tracks, reminding us that some shapes never grow old. The Jaguar E-Type was never about excess. It was about balance, proportion, and confidence. Even standing still, it feels emotion. And that is why, more than 60 years later, it remains a benchmark for beauty in the automotive world. As daylight fades, the Jaguar E-Type begins to feel different. Under streetlights and darker skies, its curves appear deeper and more dramatic. This is where the car stops being just admired and starts creating emotion. Whether it rests on a quiet European street or an empty road in an American city, the E-Type feels perfectly placed. Its design doesn't belong to one country or one era. It feels universal, calm, and confident. Even at low speeds, the E-Type feels alive. Reflections slide across the body, the bonnet stretches forward, and every movement feels smooth and intentional. This car never needs speed to make a statement. Inside, everything feels purposeful. The instruments are simple, the layout is focused, and nothing distracts the driver. It was designed to create connection, not noise. Years passed, technology changed, trends came and went. Yet the Jaguar E-Type never lost its place, not because it followed progress, but because it defined its own path. At night, the Jaguar E-Type becomes quieter, but stronger in presence. The lights, the shadows, and the reflections give it a personality that feels calm, confident, and timeless. It doesn't demand attention, it naturally receives it. At night, the Jaguar E-Type becomes quieter, but stronger in presence. The lights, the shadows, and the reflections give it a personality that feels calm, confident, and timeless. It doesn't demand attention, it naturally receives it. By the early 1960s, Jaguar wasn't trying to follow anyone. They were about to change how the world looked at sports cars forever. And the car that did it was the Jaguar E-Type. When the E-Type was revealed, people didn't ask about horsepower. They stared, they paused, because this wasn't just a car, it looked alive. The long bonnet, the flowing curves, the perfect proportions. Everything about the E-Type felt intentional. Nothing was loud, nothing was forced. The Jaguar E-Type was fast, but it never needed to prove it. It moved with confidence, smooth, controlled, and effortless. This wasn't a car made to sit in garages. It was built to be driven, through cities, across bridges, along open roads. Years passed, trends changed, but the E-Type never aged. Because real design doesn't expire. Park it next to modern cars, and something happens. The E-Type doesn't disappear. It quietly takes control of the scene. People don't just look at the Jaguar E-Type. They feel something. Nostalgia, respect, desire. The E-Type never screamed for attention. It earned it. That's why it became a symbol of taste, not excess. From Europe to America, the E-Type became universal. Different cultures, same reaction, pure admiration. On modern streets or historic roads, the Jaguar E-Type still belongs. Because legends adapt without changing who they are. Sometimes the strongest presence makes no sound. The E-Type proves that silence can speak louder than speed. This car represents freedom, confidence, and a time when cars were designed with soul. That's why the E-Type belongs in museums, in photographs, in memories. It crossed the line between machine and art. As it moves away, one truth remains clear. Some cars don't just move forward, they move people. The Jaguar E-Type was never about being the fastest. It was about being timeless. Because true legends never end. They simply wait for the next road. The Jaguar E-Type was born in a time when cars were shaped by human judgment, not software. Designers relied on instinct, experience, and proportion rather than algorithms. Every curve was evaluated by eye, not by data alone. That human approach is exactly why the E-Type still feels warm and organic today. It doesn't feel calculated. It feels intentional, emotional, and deeply connected to the people who created it. With the E-Type, design came first. Performance followed naturally. Jaguar understood that numbers alone don't create desire. Proportion does. Balance does. The result was a car that didn't need to explain itself with statistics. One look was enough. The E-Type proved that when design leads with clarity, engineering doesn't need to compete for attention. What truly defines the Jaguar E-Type is proportion. The long bonnet, the compact cabin, the flowing rear. Nothing feels exaggerated. Nothing feels restrained. This balance creates visual harmony that the human eye instantly understands. It's why people admire the car without knowing why. Proportion speaks directly to instinct, and the E-Type speaks it fluently. Even when parked, the Jaguar E-Type looks like it's moving. The lines flow forward, creating tension and direction. This sense of motion is one of its greatest strengths. Many cars rely on speed to impress. The E-Type doesn't. Its shape alone suggests momentum, elegance, and purpose before the engine is ever started. Speed was never the loudest statement the E-Type made. Instead, it focused on how speed felt. Smooth acceleration, stable balance, a sense of control rather than aggression. This approach made the car approachable and confident. It wasn't trying to intimidate. It was designed to be enjoyed, not feared. Unlike many classics, the Jaguar E-Type was never meant to live behind ropes or glass. It was built for real roads, for long drives, for everyday moments. That usability is part of its charm. The car invites interaction. It encourages movement. It rewards those who choose to drive it instead of just displaying it. Decades later, the E-Type still feels current. Not because it tries to match modern trends, but because it avoids them entirely. Clean surfaces, clear intent, no unnecessary elements. These qualities age slowly. As styles come and go, the E-Type remains visually relevant by staying true to its original purpose. Modern cars often impress through screens and features. The Jaguar E-Type impresses through emotion, the view over the bonnet, the sound, the feedback. These experiences connect driver and machine directly. That connection is difficult to replicate with technology alone. It's the reason the E-Type feels personal, not digital. Many cars are admired briefly and forgotten. The Jaguar E-Type stays in memory. People recall where they first saw one, or when they last heard it pass by. That memorability comes from identity. The E-Type doesn't blend in. It leaves an impression without demanding attention. The E-Type never relied on excess. No unnecessary decoration. No forced aggression. Its confidence came from restraint, from knowing exactly what it was and refusing to be anything else. That quiet confidence is rare, and it's one of the reasons the car continues to command respect across generations. Collectors preserve it, designers study it, younger audiences still admire it. Very few cars earn respect across generations without reinvention. The Jaguar E-Type achieved this by staying honest. It never tried to evolve beyond its identity. It allowed time to prove its value instead. At some point, the E-Type stopped being just a car. It became a reference, a benchmark, a symbol of what happens when design and engineering align perfectly. This transformation doesn't happen often. When it does, the result lives far beyond its production years. When a Jaguar E-Type appears today, People slow down. They look twice. Conversations pause. That reaction isn't planned. It's instinctive. The car triggers curiosity and admiration without explanation. That's the power of design that communicates instantly, without language. When a Jaguar E-Type appears today, people slow down. They look twice. Conversations pause. That reaction isn't planned. It's instinctive. The car triggers curiosity and admiration without explanation. That's the power of design that communicates instantly, without language.